there, are you a brand online or a business owner online seeking to position yourself globally and you're wondering which is the best tool to use? I want to introduce to you something that you already know. It is called podcast. Yes, you can actually use podcasting as a tool to position yourself globally. And I know there is a lot of work that goes into podcasting, but that is exactly why that I have created this book. I wrote this book, published it. It's on Amazon. It's on the link that is connected to this video where I show you step by step how to start, grow, and monetize your podcast, and also position yourself as a person of value or a person of authority or a business of value and authority in your field. So click on the link now to get a copy today. It promises to blow your mind.
Hello beautiful people, my name is Grace So Amazing. So I want to invite you to be a part of my inner circle. Alright, so I am a life and personal development coach. What I do is I help people build systems. And what I mean by building systems is something that looks like habits that can help you achieve your goals in 3 critical areas of your life. I'm very, very particular about health and wellness, relationship and family, and career and business. Look, I understand what it means to struggle in all these areas that I have just mentioned, and I am willing to show you how to navigate through tough times. I've been there, and I'm also certified to help you navigate through these trying times. Do not take my word for it. All you need to do is click the link that you can see below and be a part of my inner circle. See you.
All right. Welcome to Your Voice, Your Impact. This week, it's another lovely week here. I was going to say, I feel like I'm already like, it's another lovely week here in the city of Lagos, but I'm not in Lagos. So, so this is me connecting right here in my studio here in the UAE. And today on the show, we are going to be 4. Yes, not 3, not 2. And so I'm super excited about the conversation today. So we kicked off this particular conversation about 3 weeks ago. Myself and Gracie started with just, understanding identity, knowing what you want out of life, what you want, and how you want to move on with what you want, and how to get what you want out of life. And then the following series was, we talked about identity crisis. And on that particular one, we had one of our sisters and fellow coaches joined us all the way from the UK. Esther joined us, and we talked about identity crisis and how, we can handle it, knowing that it's not something that is like negative per se, depending on how we handle it. And from that particular conversation, we had one of the people who watched the episode, made a very, very fantastic comment. And I thought, no, this is so particularly interesting because he took it from the angle of culture and professionalism. And so I'm like, oh, that's good. So we're going to stay on this topic and, look at identity crisis from those perspectives, a cultural perspective and a professional perspective. So today on the show, we're joining the 3 of us, which is myself, Gracie, and Esther. And we're all going to introduce ourselves in a bit right now, okay? But before we do that, let me introduce our guest for the day. So today we're going to be hosting and talking and having this conversation on dealing with identity crisis, a cultural and professional perspective with Dr. Ben Bvepfepfe. Okay. So this one is a tongue twister, but I'll let him also come up and pronounce the name again. But Dr. Ben is a PhD holder in corporate social responsibility, CSR, and an MSc graduate in supply chain management, a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, and a fellow of Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. He has extensive operational and management experience in logistics and supply chain sectors. He has also facilitated a number of performance improvement programs in procurement, risk management, humanitarian logistics, and supply chain management for organizations across Europe, Asia, Gulf, and Africa. And today, he's going to be delving, or we're going to be having this conversation with him around identity crisis and looking at it from the perspective of culture and professionalism. And I'm looking forward to this conversation. But before we dive deep into the conversation, let us meet all our participants today, my fellow co-hosts and our guests on the show. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello, everyone. So good to have you all here. How are we doing today?
I'm well, thank you. Good to be back here today, and I hope everyone
Absolutely.
had a beautiful weekend and amazing weekend as well.
Absolutely fantastic weekend it was. Was it really fantastic? Anyways, I was home all through Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, half of it. Well, yes, it was fantastic because I completed a project I was working
Great.
on this weekend. So I'm like, yes. It almost kicked me off point because actually I started to record. So it's an audiobook project. I recorded the full book on Friday, and then, unknown to me, when I was recording, I didn't check to listen again. It was when I got home, like, I was feeling good with myself, like, I've completed this. I just need to edit and then, submit to where I need to submit to. Only for me to listen. And it was so bad, I could not use it. I wanted to cry. So I had to use the whole of Saturday to start the project all over again.
Yeah.
Stayed up all night till Sunday. And then on Sunday, when I thought, I was done, I reached out to the author. And the author said, I'm so sorry. We changed some things in some of the chapters. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? But, anyways, I'm glad I was able to redo the parts that were worked on. And our book is ready. So I'm excited. It was such a productive weekend for me. So, how was yours? Great, so amazing. I always look forward to your weekend because it's always very interesting with your self care and wellness. Okay. But before I come to you, because we have a guest. So, Dr. Ben, what was your weekend like before Gracie tells us how hers went?
Okay. Now, firstly, let me just say thank you so very much for having me to this podcast. And to be honest, I follow you energetic in LinkedIn. I find some very good postings that you normally post. And from the time that I met you in the UAE, during my time in the UAE, I followed you every time I get the opportunity. This time around, when I saw this discussion, I said, hey, this is maybe resonating with a lot of things that we do as well within the training environment. My weekend was a mixed bag. I would say, yeah, quite a bit that I did, especially on Saturday. We normally set aside this Saturday as our day of fellowship. So we go out in the morning and we meet colleagues. So we exchange some notes here and there. We then pray together. And this Saturday, we had a testimony from some adult person. I tell you, it was amazing the way that they presented it. We were really touched by their testimony. And I think it does connect with the subject matter under discussion here, because we could see the traits there in that testimony. So the Saturday was very good, even after the presentation from this person. When we came home, we did not stop just discussing and reflecting upon what had just been presented. And then yesterday we had a good day, early morning day. Our son came home, and we had coffee together in the morning, and he did help us to reset our house. And then after that, they took us for Christmas shopping. So we spent the whole day yesterday doing some Christmas shopping, and yeah, that's our day. That's our weekend anyway. So,
Absolutely fantastic. I love it. I love it. Ooh. Man, I can't wait for having my children taking me for Christmas shopping like this. Say God when.
it will come one of them.
Right? Coach Grace, please
Yes.
hit us. What exciting thing did you do this weekend? You always have this a bag of excitement. Give us what's up? What's happened?
Yes, and it's always intentional. Hi, everyone. And Mr. I mean, Dr. Ben, I just said to myself that I am going to wait for you to pronounce your name so I'm able to
All
pronounce it after you. All
right.
right, so
Okay.
pronounce your name, please, if you don't mind.
Right. When you know, I'm a teacher and I'm a trainer, so I don't give answers to my participants. So I always say, "Can you try? Can you
I
try?
didn't get that.
Can you try?"
I should
Try.
try
He's a
first.
teacher and a trainer. He doesn't give answers.
Okay.
So you try
Oh,
first.
nice.
Yeah.
Bvepfepfe.
Well done. That's 99.99%. Yeah?
Excellent.
All right, that's a good mark. I'll just keep it that way. Thank you so much. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, my weekend was
Bvepfepfe.
Bvepfepfe. I mean, fantastic. I think I got it.
Did it?
Yeah, you did. You did.
All right. So beautiful. My weekend was interesting. Usually it will be intentional. Every time I make my weekend intentional for my self care, and that's my physical, mental, emotional, and all the li that like I always say. But this weekend was for my family. My in-law, my sister's husband, retired from civil service, and it was his birthday. So it was party, 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 family affair. I connected with people that people that I had not seen since maybe 10 years. I met them this weekend, yes. And so it was really a wonderful weekend for me. I had so much fun. And then I realized that party, after 1 hour, 30 minutes in a party, I start to feel somehow. I don't know whether that has always been the case. So for me, I'm tired. Maybe I should say tired, because I couldn't control that one. Usually when I go for a party, I would leave when I'm done. But when you're the one hosting, you have to stay till the end. But overall, I had so much fun, and I was really looking forward to this. And we're here, and I'm happy to be here.
Yay! Fantastic. Love it, love it, love it. Esther, did you share with us already?
Yes, I
What was
did.
your
I was the
weekend like?
first.
Yeah, like okay, was just cool.
It was just cool.
It was just cool. So both of you are in the UK. So what's the weather like in the UK? What part of UK are you at, Esther? What part of the UK are you at, with Dr. Ben?
I'm in England. I'm in Kent, and today's fair. We're at 11 degrees thereabouts. So
Wow.
Yeah. I'm also in England, south of England. That's a great. That's a basing stuff towards Southampton. Yeah. So
Mm.
yeah, the weather's fair today. It's fair. It's quite dry, but still cloudy. Yesterday we had a little bit of sun. I don't know where they experienced same.
yeah,
There was a little
yeah,
bit of sun, but today just miserable. There's no sun. But, see, yeah, it's still better anyway because it's not drizzling. Yeah.
yeah. Not
Right.
drizzling.
Awesome. And we here, we're just enjoying the sun, even though the
Yeah, I can
weather is a
imagine.
bit cooler, but
Yeah,
the sun is so bright, it can blind you when you get out of the house, like, where's my
yeah,
shade? Where's my shade? But yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, fantastic weekend, everyone has had to this weekend. I'm grateful that we're here again. So now let us dive deep into the
yeah.
conversation. Now it's going to be a conversation. So
Okay,
please feel free to cut in, or say, raise hand and say, okay, you have something to say, and let's just have this conversation. I really liked, the angle you came from, where you talked about, that's Dr. Ben, where you talked about the identity crisis, when you say, two angles you're going to look at it
yeah,
from, being the cultural identity and professional identity.
that's right.
What would you say, when it comes to this crisis, so to say, right?
Yeah,
When it comes to the identity crisis thing, what are some, like, how would you say culture, um was that the question I want to ask? How
mm,
does the culture um create that identity, or shapes our identity? And you can speak to that from your own personal perspective, and if you've ever had that place where you were like not sure,
mm,
from a cultural perspective, where you stood. I mean, you being from an African descent, but probably, a global citizen. So how does that work?
okay. Thank you. I think we so familiar with the fact that culture itself defines who we are. In fact, I'm sure you've delved into this already in your previous chats. That one of the identities that it defines a person is their culture, and culture defined as the way things are done. Okay, the norms where you're saying this is how things should be, what one considers to be moral is the basis of one's culture, isn't it? So so your value system. So then, I mean, being a global person or an individual that then crosses different cultural settings, it becomes an issue. It becomes a big issue uh, because you've got to acknowledge the fact that you are in a different cultural setting, and then you recognize the different cultural setting from a positive perspective, so that um, there is, I mean, your defined parameters do not then conflict or come into conflict with the other cultural settings where you are sort of operating in. So yes, there are situations that I had to deal with it. To be honest, there are situations that I had to deal with the different cultural settings in order that you don't then end up getting yourself stressed out because it's possible. I know of colleagues who had to, they just left. Okay, they
Mm.
just left, especially from a professional perspective. I suppose you went into some strong cultural settings like the Middle East, where you are at present moment. I've been there for the last 6 years. Some of my colleagues could not last a month. Okay, others would only maybe last 3 months because they could not, accept the change in
Mm.
their way of doing things. So yes, culturally, it can be a big challenge. Esther, I don't know whether this could be the same with you. Maybe if I could add also,
Mm.
when we came over to Europe, it's over 20 years ago. We brought in a family that includes our young children.
Mm.
I would say they would have been affected more than us as parents, because as parents we had a strong grounding, okay, and we could deal with the cultural changes. But our children then had challenges. They had challenges, and I'm sure up to now they still have some of these issues that I've got to deal with. Yeah.
Right. I can
Yeah.
I can just imagine. Yeah, Esther, please go for it.
Yeah.
Like
Let me
what's your
weigh
take
in
on
there.
that? Yes.
So, you know, I think one of the examples we gave last week was also relocation. People experience culture shock, which can make you question yourself or doubt yourself, right? I'm going to come in from a perspective of family. Now, you came in with kids, and from my view, sometimes it's easier for children to adapt because they're still in their formative stage. So they are oftentimes flexible than adults, right? We've had couples having challenges with the changes around here. I mean, back home for most of us, you can easily get someone to help with house chores. You have, domestic staff. But here, one, you want to first strike a balance, within your finances, and then what some people are not used to being actively involved, in homemaking becomes a challenge with most families because both parties will have to work equally and then So you have that, and people, it's easy to question yourself, like, am I the one doing this? You know, and I remember last year, we had a training at work to learn the British culture, and so many people were like, it's difficult for them to address, bosses and your teachers, lecturers by first name. It's not what we do, you know, it's not what we do. But here, everyone goes by first name. I mean, first name, everybody, your director and the entry level staff, everybody goes by first name. So imagine, so let's say you were a C2 staff, or C2 executive back home, and then you decide to relocate. You're the type of C2 executive that everybody
Yes,
sass to,
sir.
and
Yes, ma. Yes,
everybody,
sir.
you
Yes,
know,
ma.
and then everyone genuflects to respond to you. And then you get here and like, hi Ben, hi Ben. Oh,
yeah,
hi mate. I'm like, no, I'm not your mate.
yeah,
you know and that's why it's important as an individual that you know that your identity is not in your certificate, your achievement, your pocket, your bank account, your assets, and whatever. We have to come to a place where we're able to define ourselves rightly, because if you only define yourself by your status, then it becomes challenging, in different cultures where nobody cares what you do or who you are. And I think in some other Western cultures, it's even easier than here.
Hmm.
It's it's not appropriate to talk about your achievements and what you do. It's really not appropriate. Yeah.
Wow, that's
So
different from America, right?
exactly. In America, like,
mm,
oh, I'm this, I'm
like
that.
that's how you know. Like, yeah.
Here
Wow,
it's not
interesting.
appropriate. So it's probably when you look into people's profile, or that's when you're like, oh my god, was that who I was talking to? you know Here it's nobody gets. So now imagine, if you define yourself by all of that, being in an environment like this, you start feeling like, I'm not relevant, they don't see me, I
Honestly,
don't matter.
like
you
that's the
know
height of crisis. Absolutely,
and
that
then
is
you
the
begin
height.
to doubt yourself and all of that. So
yeah,
Wow,
it's important to know, what
who
makes you
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 are.
and who you
Hmm.
are outside.
Gracie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Gracie, I mean, I know you are, based, but I've seen you collaborate with people from all over the world, right? So what's your take on, some of the cultural shock and how you were able to navigate them in really dealing and opening up to the different people that you collaborate with as a coach?
Thank you so much. And before I answer the question, I want to put it out there because I see you're struggling with using the word crisis, and that's probably because of the other time we had that conversation. The lady said that she doesn't like to call it crisis; that she would rather call it transformation. And then our management guru is going to help us. Maybe later we'll talk about risk management and why crisis is not a bad thing,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
should,
true.
enhance. So I'm just reiterating that because some people might be saying that, no, why should it be called, crisis and
Yeah,
all that? And it's part of our
yeah,
culture, our culture in, not calling certain things what they should be, because we are we're seeing it as a negative thing. We forget that these things need to work together for us to achieve, setting goals. And thank you so much for that question. And I think what has helped me so far is my training as a coach. And I used to work in a multinational where we had people from different countries working together, so it was really easy for me to navigate. And so it was easy, but that culture thing and your paradigm, your mindset, how you've been trained, it will struggle. So that's where the crisis comes to play. But the beautiful thing, and that's why I'm always talking about training. Training is, if you know better, you do better. So whenever I am receiving that feedback that something is looking like it's not working well, I would ask myself, Grace, what is playing out here? Is it my culture, my belief system? Is it what I have learned all through the year, or is this normal? So I'll give you a classic. A classic. You know me, I like practical. I lost my dad last year, and the person I was working with, she's an American, you know, 4 days or maybe 5 days later, she came and sent me a message. So Grace, blah blah blah. Let's get it. I'm like, say what now? I lost my dad, and you're asking me to, I'm not interested. I was so mad. So here we are very, when we lose someone, we might just take, I don't know if that's how they see it over there, but they're very quick. Let me say she was very quick. I don't want to believe that that's how it is over there, but they are more, they don't really work with sentiments like we Africans, or in Nigeria we are very, oh hey, and all of that. You get that, PT party for a period before, but she was like, okay, that is gone. You can bring him back. Let's get back to work. I was so mad at her. I was so mad at her. But later on, when I sat down, good thing. I mean, our coaching and everything. Coach and the number one thing I would just say before I wrap up is be ready to be flexible. The crisis would come, the shift in mindset and everything that you've learned all the years would come. But for you to be, for one thing should be consistent. You have to be flexible. You know that when these things come, you question what you've always known, you question what they have, and then you become, you become very objective and see that this is the one that would really work for us. So when it comes to the culture shock, working with other people, I might want to attack it, but when I sit down and look through it, I'll be like, okay, this is how they see things from their own map of the world, and this is NLP. Esther would agree with me. NLP, your own map of the world is not what the whole world would
It's
see.
not
You have
universal.
it isn't universal. So when I get my own map of the world and I see another person's map of the world, I put them together, and then
You try
we'll
to look
look at
for
the
the
ones that are
intersection.
factual. Exactly. And then we'll look for a common ground, to work things out. So yeah, that's how
I
I'm
love
able
it.
to deal with things around that area.
I
Thank you so
love
much.
it. I love it. I see it. I love how you, especially Grace, I love how you bring in coaching into everything you do. And that just tells of how exceptional you are as a coach, and also tells you the power of coaching. Because again, that's the beauty of it. That's ability to be able to sit back or withdraw and have an aerial view of what has happened, reflecting on what has happened, so that oh, maybe I could have handled it differently. Maybe I could have looked at it from their own perspective, because not just my perspective. Maybe I acted too quickly, without considering where they are coming from. And with that introspection, you're able to then, okay, come to terms with, okay, this might be why they acted the way they did, and why, okay, I probably also acted the way I did. I love it. So let's come back to what you said about risk management to Dr. Ben, and crisis. How do you adapt, what you know to be very useful for companies and
Yeah.
global organizations with managing risk? And because crisis is almost like, okay, what am I doing here? Like you said, some people did not last a month, where you lasted six years. Like that's such a huge gap. Like, wow, you
Yeah.
must know something they don't know, or you must have done something they didn't do that made you
Yeah.
last more than they did. So how do you
Yeah.
adapt and adopt what you know from risk management in the corporate world to identity crisis as a personal person relating corporately and professionally?
Okay. Well, I mean, let me just go back to what Esther said earlier on that somehow it it would occur that like children adapt better in new environments than adults. Um, I, I may have a different perspective on that because uh, probably our children do not have a grounding in a culture when we bring them over. So they then abandon a particular way of doing things and then adapt this new way. So they are not like changing a culture. I don't see them changing because they may not have it. I think adults tend to, when we say adapt, we're basically saying they're willing, they have accepted, and then they live within a different setting, although they've got an identity that they've got. So, so it is important from a risk management to understand your environment. Because any risk management that attempts to to come up with strategies or tactics without really understanding your environment will fail. So the first step that one needs to do in risk management is to analyze your environment from a cultural perspective. What are the norms and what are the key differences, okay, between what you believe in and what the environment or setting actually present itself to you? And then you need to obviously understand the impact of some of these cultural dynamics, the things that defines how individuals should behave themselves within that institutional setting. So that's very important. What is the impact of those factors within the institutional setting as far as your professional performance is concerned? I have a situation that I may want to share with you that would have happened about 5, 6, 7 years ago. I write training materials and then I deliver into organizations within the globe. And I remember this particular organization, very strong and powerful. I will not mention them now, but if I mention them, you would know them. They're an international oil and gas organization that are renowned. Okay, they supply lots to the global market. And one of my professional institutions was then contracted to write up learning materials and then deliver the program there. And I was subcontracted as a consultant to do the development of the program. So I then included um, women. Okay, I made reference to women in the materials, even including images. Okay, of women in the materials. Okay, and then the client would then say, we don't want any reference to women, and all images of women must be removed. Okay, so there I was as a professional person, where one of the issues that we are driving home is inclusivity. Okay, to ensure that also women are not excluded, and I was then put on the spot. Okay, what did I do? To be honest, I stood my ground and I said to myself, look, it's up to the institution itself. Okay, I am not going to back down on something that I believe to be an issue. Okay, the whole world is moving towards equality from that perspective, and as a professional person, I cannot then compromise my professionalism. So this is the issue. I mean, do we adapt by compromising? Okay, a belief or a value? Maybe this is where we differ in terms of where we are. Okay, in in our cultural beliefs. Okay, so for me, I believe that one needs then to weigh between the impact of a particular cultural setting or norm against your professional backing, and then come up with your remedy or with your strategy. You can either tolerate or you can terminate it completely. Okay, you can transfer it. Say, okay, look, I am not, I don't want my name to appear there. So I'd rather somebody else do it. Okay. Uh, Otherwise, you want them to come up with a remedy that fits within your professional standing. So, yes, culture is a key risk area, but it needs to be properly managed, okay, from the professional perspective.
Hmm. That's quite interesting. And I love how you kind of it almost feels like that's like a diplomatic way to deal with it. Like, see, for you to adapt or react or respond, let's use respond, not react, to respond to those differences in culture and perspective, professionally and everything. It's like you have to still come back to you. And I think that's so it's very like neutral in a way. It still has to come down to you, knowing
Yes,
who you are,
yes,
understanding what you stand for, what
yes,
you believe, and what you're not going to break for. So what you're not going to compromise on. And then you decide
yes,
whether this thing that is looking like, is it really negating my point of view or my belief system?
yes,
Am I willing to compromise on it?
yes,
Or am I just like, no, I am going to stay? And I think, again, it all boils down to, like you said, weighing the impact. What impact is it going to have, both on me, on the people I'm dealing with, on the project I'm working on? What do you have to say to that, Grace or Esther? What do you have to say to dealing with those crises in the moment of it?
So like you said, it comes down to you. So in that moment, you first have to, for me, or reflect on what matters most right now. You know, what matters most right now, because some things they can be dicey. You might not know the state, who you're dealing with is in. So in that moment, what matters most? That would be my perspective.
Okay, I don't know if if what I would add to this would, but I need to understand the question. I honestly need to understand the question. Crisis in a particular situation, or what
Yes.
exactly is the
So
question?
in the place where, the question I asked doctor was in looking at the risk management level and how to looking at professionalism and how to
yes,
adopt it to personal, crisis like that. And he's like, see, at the end of the day, you have to weigh the impact it's going to have per time for you to make up your mind to do this. So I'm just saying that, what would you say to that? Like, in a situation where it's a personal it's almost like from a personal point of view, like maybe not, it could when I say personal point of view now, it could be like you are from your own perspective, but
yeah,
you are
yes,
in a
I get it.
professional
I
setting,
I,
right?
tot-
Yeah,
I
so
totally
how
get.
would
I
you
get it.
react or respond to that, or dealing with the crisis in the moment?
Okay, so one interesting tool, for issues, I would say, is emotional intelligence, right? Where you're self-aware. So crisis would come in different shapes and sizes, and different people and different, but what again would be consistent would be you. How emotionally intelligent are you to be able to handle things at different stages at different times? Because if you're not able to master that particular um, situation, it will how you deal with A would probably be different from how you deal with B and how you deal with a situation all round. So I think the key thing is to be emotionally intelligent so that when issues come up, you are aware enough to know how to go about it. So it's a tool that can be helpful. It's not like it's one tool out of so many things that you can deal with. Because yeah, so in that way, if you're emotionally intelligent, because sometimes what stands out when you're dealing with a crisis or a situation is your emotions will come to play, whether we like it or not. You're either angry, or you are irritated, or there's the
Disappointed.
best you know so that is how you know that something is triggering what you've always known, all the things that you've learned all your life. The trigger is, why is this person calling me? So for instance, respect is a big thing here, and because it's now your belief system that you respect is how people are seen as big, respect, responsible, and all of that. So it becomes a big thing for you, and you go to a place where respect is not one of their, it's not a big deal for them. And then when people start to act in, like the example Coach Esther used, the first thing that would come is anger. So if you're emotionally intelligent, you understand that, look, first things first, you know yourself, self-awareness. And then, you're socially responsible, socially intelligent. You understand what effective communication is. You are able to effectively communicate to the person that, look, this is how I'm seeing this. So you're responding and you're not reacting. In that way, you are able to manage the situation for time. So for me, the number one tool I would say is for us to build ourselves when it comes to emotional EQ, IQ, SQ, and all of those things that would help us, And somebody said it that so this is on a lighter note. I wrote something about why we should be very intentional about mastering our emotions and everything, and learning how to. And somebody said that, Grace, I beg. You're telling me to be emotionally intelligent when somebody is in front of me, annoying me to my last to
Like the
my
person
last
is
nerve.
pushing my button.
You
Mm.
understand? And I said, yes,
Wow.
the fact that you are angry doesn't mean, so there's this misconception that you shouldn't be angry because you're emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Wrong. You should be angry, but how you respond is what matters. Everybody should be able to know how to, so yes, to make this very brief now, I would
Yeah.
say we should improve ourselves when it comes to our EQ, so that it can help us to deal with crisis for time.
Yeah. Can I
Absolutely
add that?
fantastic. Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. I think the aspect of emotional intelligence is very important as well, especially if we look at it from the other side of things, the other party as well. How are they affected by the subject matter or by these cultural
Empathy.
issues? We're looking at cultural issues versus the professionalism. And let's say the example that I gave you, here is a setting that are emotionally so concerned about a particular aspect that touches on a profession, or on a professional value. Let's suppose I am emotionally sort of touched. My emotional intelligence identifies this to be a key issue because it is key to that environment or to that institutional setting. So, what should I do? How should I respond? I think it's important also to recognize there is a threshold or a limit at which
Elastic limit, yeah.
adapting to a particular setting would
Mm-hmm.
take one, or should take one from a professional standing.
Mm-hmm.
There are some environments where, say, bribe and corruption is acceptable as a norm.
Mhm.
Yes, there are certain environments, or even some cultural setting where giving gifts is considered to be something good. Okay, and they exchange these gifts as norm, as business norms. And some environments would then say, no, don't
No.
accept, don't accept it. Okay, so one needs to draw some line
Mm-hmm.
of some sort.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In risk management, coming back to that risk management, we often use the four T's, 4 T's in responding. Once you have analyzed the risk and then you put it somewhere there, as far as your standing is concerned. So the first one we said, either you tolerate it, okay, you tolerate and accept it, that okay, this is what it is. I'm just going to take it on board as a cost to my life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the other one is you terminate. You basically say, no, 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 I'm not doing it. It's not mine. It's look, I'm not. I won't accept it because going down there, it compromises my integrity.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically not accept it. The other one is saying, okay, I transfer it. It's now accommodating, but using somebody else. Okay, to do it, you're protecting your image. You're protecting your image, but you're using somebody else. And then the other one would say treat it. So you come up with some way of okay, probably some medication of some sort, or you maybe your emotional intelligence comes in now. You're using this negotiation techniques or tactic to try and win the other party. That's you know what, things can be done differently or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as one understands the magnitude of a cultural issue as far as their professional standing is concerned, then I think they're better positioned to adopt some of the tools that you are using or that you are
Interesting.
telling us, yeah, to address it. But like you said, I like the first one you said, Grace, you said crisis is is a norm. It's not negative. It's
No.
just where two different or two or more uh, cultural settings come into
And clash.
conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how we respond to it determines whether it's negative or it's positive.
Absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic. And this kind of circle back to the beginning when we say that, the crisis itself, even in the situation where it's just within, like it is you, like when we talked about, changing a
Mm-hmm.
job or even achieving something and like, oh my God, I did this. I actually won this award. But then it's like, am I a new, like, how do
Mm-hmm.
I act now? Like, do I act with my shoulders up? Like, I've actually achieved this. Or do I like calm down, like, oh, I have to be humbler than before so that people won't think because I just, got this achievement. That's why my shoulders are, again, it could be eternal, but internal, I mean, it could be internal to say, okay, that's the crisis. But again, we're saying that at the end of the day, it still boils down to you understanding where you are at and what you're
Mm-hmm.
up against, whether this involves a third party, a second party, or it's just within yourself. And I
Yeah.
love those 4 T's you shared, which you can actually adopt or adapt on a personal level. It's
Mm-hmm.
like when that crisis comes, it's like you either, you know, what's the word, terminate it and say, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
this is not who I am. Like, no, and I'm not going to take on an identity that is not mine. Like, say, for example, somebody, you did something and then somebody called you a name and like, no, this is not who I am, and I'm not going to accept that name for myself. Or you can tolerate it and say, is it true? Maybe I'm truly proud, because I'm saying the things that I've achieved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can transfer it and no, 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 no. Is it because he said it because, like, you can transfer the blame and not, stay with your own identity. Or you can treat it. Yes, Gracie, go for it.
I'm very happy. Doctor mentioned something that I was, a part of where I used to work. It was the culture of the organization not to receive gifts. Do not receive, do not take, do not approve, do not, it was a culture there. Now, here is the thing. I don't even know how it would be some struggle for, I mean, if it would be a struggle for anybody. We like to say prioritize. Your culture is 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 you receive gifts. It's what you people see as the norm in your environment. Your job is important. So ask yourself, there are situations, we coaches, we like to do options, prioritize, which is serving you, which is good for you. If it's not serving you now, if you want to dance around your culture, that gift and everything, we do it in our own place. Do you want to stick to your culture and just do you get what I mean? Or you
Mhm.
want to keep your job and be as professional as you are. So it's very easy. Coaching makes life very easy because you have your priorities, you have your beliefs, you have your values. So man, woman, this is it. You have options. You have your culture, you have your beliefs. We don't have problems with what you believe. We don't have problems with what your culture is. But what are you prioritizing? Do you want to stick to our own culture and our own values and beliefs, or do you want to stick to your beliefs and your own values? Whichever one works for you, we are good with it. We don't have problems with that. So on a scale of, when you're dealing with issues and you're dealing with crisis, if you know that this your mindset and your belief system is holding you back and is depriving you of certain things that you should have and you don't have because you're holding firm, and that's where flexibility comes to play again. You're holding firm to what is not serving you. In our world and in our coaching field, we say, trash it, man, trash it. We know it's your culture and it's good for you and it's been doing a lot for you. But right now, where you are, is it serving you or is it no longer serving you? If it's no longer serving you,
Let it
trash it.
go. Let
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
So
go.
for
Thank
me, it
you.
was very easy to know that I'm not receiving any gift from anybody. I love my job. I want to stay in my office, right? So I sat down there and, they gave a caveat to make it a lot easier, especially for periods like this December.
Yeah, Christmas,
If
yeah.
you're going, yeah, so because they know that, come on, they're just appreciating these people, you declare it. That
Ah, okay.
it
Somebody gave
is,
me gift, oh. They gave me gift, oh. I
and
love it.
everybody's happy.
Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting. Let me quickly add to that. I love your perspective on prioritizing and what Dr. Ben said as well, and this tolerate, transfer, terminate, and treat. You'd be surprised that all of this still boils down to emotional intelligence. But one thing I've learned in, a line of work is, if you come and say, oh, if you're dealing with situations, this is it's emotional intelligence, but practical, like prioritizing, like what is most important to me right now? What is it that I value the most now? You know, it's all in the application, because at times when we say emotional intelligence, somebody that is out there that's probably not familiar, or somebody that might get to see these videos and pronouncing, okay, whatever that means, right? But the simple approaches in your everyday life, like
Yeah.
somebody has just reacted or done something or shouted at me or done something that contradicts my values, something that contradicts my belief, something that just doesn't agree with me. In that moment, what do I do? How do I
Mm-hmm.
approach the situation?
Yeah.
What is it that matters to me right now? Is it setting this person straight? Is it my peace of mind? Is it my job? Because, maybe on your job, you're expected to do this or not do this. Like the practical step, how would you, apply emotional intelligence? What will work for you here and now? And it's really fascinating. You spoke about respect earlier, and then I was like, you'll be surprised, because in some level, in some way, everybody deserves respect. Everybody believes that somewhere within them, they have respect for people. But then our perspective and our definition
How it
nowadays
Oh,
is
is
respect.
delivered
How
is
you show
different.
different.
respect
Yes, how,
different.
yes. It's
You
like
you
love
realize
language.
that
How you, yeah.
exactly. It's you now realize that in all of these things, the basis of the identity crisis is something that's just incongruent with you.
Mm,
Mm,
And that's where, like you said, one of the principles of success is flexibility.
right.
absolutely.
And in every moment, you should be able to question yourself, what matters to me now the most? You
Love
know,
it.
where I am, where I want to be, what is in the gap? What is it that matters to me now, like here and now, right? Because at times, the crisis is even as a result of what was and what will be.
So in
But in
between.
the
Mm,
here and now,
Mm,
either it's um, with other people, with yourself, what is it that matters to me here and now?
right
And
now.
how am I responding to everything going on here and
Right
now?
now. I love it. I love it. Like there's just this connectivity with all of it, emotional intelligence, being present, being mindful, having your priorities right, understanding your belief system, looking at the impact of what you're about to do or how you're about to react to what is on ground, and looking at, okay, how does it affect? Okay, like you said, is it serving me right now? Is it serving me? If it's not serving me, why am I holding on to it? And just
Trash
that
it.
ability to trash it, let it go, right? So that you can move forward. Amazing, 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 amazing conversation we've had today. Thank you so much. Thanks to Dr. Ben.
I
I will
think you
not,
had to drop out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I think he had to drop out. So, but thanks for being there. And thank you, Gracie and Coach Esther, for being here as well. I see Odiwoma still joining us today. I remembered we promised Odiwoma a gift last
Christmas
week
present.
for, yes, for constantly being, a participant in our conversations. And I think she mentioned she was in Abuja, right? I think she mentioned she was in
Yeah,
Abuja.
she did
Okay.
say she's in
So,
Abuja.
Odiwoma, if you're watching this right now, I don't know if you're still here, but if you are, I know Coach Grace is also in Abuja. So
DM Coach
maybe,
Chris your address.
yeah, so maybe what we'll do is I wanted to ask, I don't know if she's still here. I wanted to ask if she's into healthy living. If you are not, we will drag you in because everybody has to be healthy, right? And we know that water is life and water is great. And I know Coach Grace has this nice water bottle that helps you kind of keep track. Please, Coach Grace, tell us about that water bottle. Let's see if we can get her one as a gift from
okay,
us,
so
your voice, your
what was
impact.
the what happened? What was
So Odiwoma has always been a part of the conversation and she's always
oh,
engaging, even in the comment section. So last week we were like, you know what, for being that, we're going to gift you something from all of us. So I'm just
oh
thinking like,
nice.
okay, what can we gift her? And then she's in Abuja. I'm like, okay, so maybe we can
Okay.
gift her one of your water bottles or one of your
Oh, okay,
health
okay,
awareness.
yeah.
So I just wanted you to speak to that so that yeah.
Okay. Okay, so it's an inspirational water bottle that will just help you track your water intake. And if you, what's that?
Afi Seven says, I've been joining too.
But how come I'm not seeing all these conversations? Okay, maybe if you're using your laptop.
Yes, I'm using the laptop.
I
Happy
have
Sabbath,
been
I've been
joining.
joining
Too.
to all the mama says I'm still here. Okay, so okay. We owe you a gift to Afi Seba, and that's true actually. Afi Seba has been joining every week as well. So okay. So we'll think about something for you, Afi Seba. Afi Seba is in the UK, so we'll come up with something. But yeah, tell me about the water bottle.
Yeah, so it's not just the water bottle. It's something that would help you track your healthy lifestyle. So you can use it for your smoothies, you can use it for anything that can help you stay on track. So there's that. We have that Wellfit Bill. That's one of our products. And
What's it called again?
yeah, I mean, so the maker is Stream Zone, yeah, but you can get it on Wellfit Bill.
Oh,
Wellfit Bill is
Bill. Okay.
the it's the business
Okay.
where you can get the bottle. Okay, so I wasn't part of the conversation last week, so I was not here.
Yeah. No problem. So we'll arrange for that. We'll see, how we can get that across to you. So Odiwoma, send me a message I don't know if you're on WhatsApp. If you have me if you're connected to me on WhatsApp, send me a message on WhatsApp. If not, I know we're connected on X. Send me a message on X. Let's see, what we can do. I'll talk to Gracie. We'll arrange. You let us know your address and things like that, and we'll see what we can do for that. For Afi, who is in the UK, what shall we do? What shall we do for Afi? Afi, I think I have a perfect gift for you. Oh. Should I set you up, Afi Sebo? Should I set you up? So, congratulations to Afi Sebo. She is so her birthday is on Friday. Happy birthday to you, ma'am. By the way, she's celebrating her birthday on Friday, and she has an amazing session. So let me do that first of all. Let me use this opportunity to promote Afi Sebo first gift for her, and then we'll talk about what else we are going to gift her. But this Friday, so I would love to invite you. She's having a 1 day summit on Friday, the 22nd of December. All right. And I would love to invite you to be a part of that. Okay. So I am going to, I'm just looking for the link now so that I can connect, I can share the link with you. That is one gift I know she really needs right now. I mean, it's never easy to put an event together. All right, guys, it's never easy to put an event together. So when you have somebody putting an event together, the least you can do is support them by sharing the event with people, talking about it, helping them promote it. It will cost you nothing really. It will cost you nothing to maybe say, what's the word now, put out the flyer, right? Put out the flyer on your WhatsApp status, on your stories, and connect the link to it, right? It will cost you nothing. So let me quickly show you what she's going to be doing this weekend, and please let us support her to help spread the word about this particular event. All right, so I'm just going to do this quickly. Am I able to share my screen? um so give me a second. I'm looking for a way to do this. Am I able to do this? I should be able to do this. Okay, let me do this for now. Are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see my screen? Okay, so I know so this is the event she's going to be having this weekend on Friday. So I'm inviting you. I'm going to leave the link to the event in the comment section, right? Of course, you can see I'm going to be the moderator, so I'm 100% a part of this. So she is having this celebration on Friday. It's her birthday and other celebration as well. Okay, so yes, please be a part of it. I would share again. I'll copy the link again and put it in the comment section across the platforms that this live stream is happening, so that you can be a part of it. That's one of the gifts we can give our first, because this is like, it's needed right now, right now. It's needed as soon as possible, because we want her to want to help. We want her to have this, successful 1 day summit. Okay, and it's just a beautiful journey that she's been on and that she wants to share with the world. So please be a part of that this Friday. That would be 6 p.m. UK time, and I think that would be 5 p.m. West African time, and yeah, I think 8 or 9 p.m. GST. All right. So I'm probably still going to share about it before the week runs out across my social media platform. So that's one way I know we can support Afi Sevo. So thank you so much, Afi Sevo, for always being a part of the conversation weekly on Your Voice, Your Impact. Again, this is the energetic EJ. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. If you do have questions, you can still type it out in the comment section, and we're going to be reading your comments even after the live stream is over. And also, if you would love to give us feedback, regardless of where you're watching from, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on LinkedIn, please send your feedback in. What topics would you like us to talk about? What kind of guests would you like us to bring on the show? what things or what questions do you have that you'd love us to, share insights on? Be a part of the conversation. And yeah, I know next week, Monday, is going to be Christmas. We haven't decided yet if we're going to go on a break on Christmas Day, or we're just going to come out here and make it an opportunity for you to just say hi and wish each other or wish each other a very Merry Christmas on Christmas Day. I don't know, but let's see. Christmas is Monday. So most of us, right, would have all gone to church on Sunday, which is Christmas Eve. So it's going to be a busy Christmas Eve. But I have a feeling that most of us will actually be chilling on Christmas Day because it's on a Monday. So we haven't decided yet. But if we do decide and we're here, join us again next week, Monday, 25th. Merry Christmas to you from all of us, from myself, from Gracie, from Esther. Merry Christmas to you and a very, very prosperous 2024. But just in case we decide to say, you know what, no, 25th, we're going to chill, we're going to spend time with our families and loved ones. So we're wishing you a very beautiful one. Enjoy yourself. Make sure you spend time with your loved ones. Ensure you share a gift or two. Even if you don't have a physical gift, you can create gift cards and share to your friends and family to let them know you care about them, you're thinking about them, you love them, you miss them if you're unable to be with them, and spend time with them this Christmas. So, again, this is the energetic AJ, and this is your voice, your impact. We are firm believers that you have a voice and your voice is meant for impact, okay? So use it. Tell your story, share your knowledge, let somebody else know what has worked for you, what hasn't, because that way you're adding value to our world. Okay. Until we come your way again on the next one, here is saying bye. See you around. Take care. Bye bye.